Hey, it's Home for the Holidays coming up right after this. Hi, I'm Alan Smith. Welcome to the show. Well, it's that time of year again. It's time for the holidays. I've got some things I want to share with you. We're going to put together a really simple project that involves sweet gum balls. We're going to apply them to a grapevine wreath. You see, it's easy and inexpensive, but we'll get to that a little later. Now today we're going to visit Garvan Woodland Gardens in Hot Springs, Arkansas to see some of the unique things they're doing to prepare for Christmas tours. Plus, I'll take you to the garden home retreat to show you the tree I have in the back den to give you some helpful information on LED lights. And I'd also like to give you a couple of ideas when it comes to decorating for holiday guests, along with a great gift suggestion. Now we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to take a tour of the festive, very festive Garvan Woodland Gardens. So stay tuned. You know, there's nothing quite like the scent of fresh cut greens. And what would the holidays be without gingerbread houses, toy soldiers, and candy canes? Well, at Garvan Gardens, they have all of this and much more. James Scallion, a welder and builder at Garvan, tells us about the holiday setup and how long it takes to pull this project together.
Welcome to the gingerbread house and the gingerbread family of people. We built our house and our people are all situated in the woods at Garvan Woodland Gardens. Our gingerbread theme is much like the rest of the theme in the garden. Physically right here we're looking at the gingerbread house, and it's a wooden structure and it's a walk-through feature. You can go in the front door and go out the back. We always try to make all of our features ADA friendly. The Children's Hospital always brings a bunch down here, and it's a big thing to me, is for the kids to be able to see it. We try our best to stay indigenous with our set pieces. They'll range from butterflies to turtles to koi fish. Turn the corner, it's always a new surprise. And of course, then you go into the candy cane lane, and it's a really pretty soft area at night. Important locations, the Ellipse is that's where the toy soldiers are all there. The elf house, which is just down the road, is another nice feature. You'll come into what we call the chip trail, and you'll come by a feature that is what we call the present, and it's a big giant present with a big bow and streamers coming off the top. And the whole trail and pathway is lit with chandeliers, 5-star, 3-star, and Tiffany chandeliers. We have some 16 coneflowers that are new this year, 8 growing tulips that are new this year. We of course have our butterfly meadow and daisies that we're proud of. We have a new feature this year. It's a trumpet vine. It's some 25 feet high. You come around one curve, you may see a turtle. You may see tulips grow. You turn the next corner, then you may see 2 giant wreaths with a huge tree showcased in the center of both of them. Then you turn the next corner, you may see coneflowers, you may see deer, you may see koi fish, you may see teddy bears. We are in the process of trying to go more green. We're trying to change our incandescent lighting over to LED lighting. It's a lot friendlier electricity-wise. The color schemes are important. We have areas that are soft in nature and serene, and that's usually where our water features are. That way you have the quiet and the peacefulness of the water and the softness of the lights. And those in combination give you a completely different outlook. And then you turn the corner and then, you know, the lights are going off and music is playing, and so there's different areas, and it's all done by color. The crew itself, we start in September. We do spend some 6,000 hours, and probably 12 2,500 to 3,000 hours in volunteer work. It's child-friendly, and young and old can enjoy everything and every aspect of what we have here. Each trail that you turn and go down takes you from one area to a surprise and a new area. And each corner that you turn, there's another feature, there's another lighted area, and it seems to be never ending until you get back to where you started. And it's all in a woodland garden setting.
Now after the break, we'll get started on that project. Plus we'll see what I've done at the Garden Home Retreat to make it a little more festive. You know, I've always enjoyed coming up with projects that take the ordinary, like these sweet gum balls, and creating something extraordinary with them. Now, this project could not be simpler. I mean, basically, you're working with a grapevine wreath of any size you want, and I'm just taking a hot glue gun and taking the hot glue and attaching these sweet gum balls to the grapevine wreath. Now, I want to give you one tip. When you do this, go around the outer edge of it first and apply the sweet gum balls, and then build up and over and make sure you line the inside. Then you're ready to add your own personal touch. I've created these where I've used cranberries on a string as well as popcorn, but there's nothing more elegant than just a simple velvet bow. Now I'd like to show you some decorating that I've been doing at the Garden Home Retreat involving homemade decorations and a huge tree. You know, when the holidays roll around, it gives us a great opportunity in many ways to blur the lines between inside and out. This idea of bringing the garden indoors. We do it with holiday plants such as poinsettias and Christmas cactus, and then there's no end to the greens with wreaths and garlands and certainly Christmas trees. And I like a big tree. I either like a small tabletop tree or a really big one, and this one is 12 feet tall. As you can see, I have a lot of lights on it. In fact, there are about 2,500 individual lights here, but what's special about them is that they are LED. LED lights allow me to have a greener Christmas. They don't require as much energy as most traditional Christmas lights. As a matter of fact, they use approximately 90% less electricity than conventional incandescent bulbs. So what they can also do by keeping the temperature down, and you see they don't get hot, they actually keep your tree from drying out prematurely. If you touch one of the bulbs, you'll find it's actually cool to the touch. The other thing that's interesting about these is that the strands themselves will last a long time. And you're going to think this is ridiculous, but you can get up to 10 to 20,000 hours of beauty out of one strand of lights. And the other thing is that they're made of plastic, so there's no breakage involved like you had with incandescent bulbs. Each year I try to create a little different theme for my Christmas tree. Here at the Garden Home Retreat with these 12-foot ceilings, I went with a 12-foot Fraser fir. One thing I always do is I always like to integrate store-bought and homemade ornaments. The store-bought ornaments are pretty obvious. They're the glass balls you see. Some look rather old-fashioned, but they're actually very new. I like the pine cones. They're slightly off the silver theme, but they add a little punch. And then, of course, the beads, the garland, as well as these wonderful snowflakes. They add a little sparkle and some panache to the tree. Now let's talk about some of the homemade ornaments, like this little star. You see, what's great about having some homemade ornaments is it makes the tree look old-fashioned, gives it some soul. This is a salt dough ornament. We have about 60 of these on the tree. They're really easy to make. They're made from salt, flour, and warm water, baked like a cookie in any shape you like. And then we painted them with house paint. I just used an interior latex, the same color we used here in the house, called Nantucket Breeze. It's a low VOC paint, and these should last for a long, long time. Some of the other homemade ornaments that you'll see on the tree include these wonderful little origami birds, which are made out of doilies. They cost about 5 cents a piece. And then take a look at some of our icicles. Those are just 2 pipe cleaners twisted together to look like an icicle. Pretty convincing, huh? And then take a look at some of these macaroni birds, or mythological creatures. They're made with different types of macaroni, some lima beans, and glue. And the way we clip them on is with a paper clip. All it takes is those few ingredients and some imagination. And then I finished the tree off by using some wide velvet, wired ribbon, and created these large bows and placed them all over the tree. It created a great sense of contrast to the green and all the cool colored ornaments. So that's the theme for this year. I'm really pleased with it, and who knows what I'll come up with for next season. Up next, a unique gift idea, and a little later, this delicious recipe you don't want to miss. I've been growing Supertunia Vista bubblegum for years now, and the blooms never seem to stop. I've also become familiar with another Supertunia color, this one called Bordeaux. Now, if you're not really into pink like you find with bubblegum, this may be the plant for you. You see, the blooms are slightly violet pink, but they have a deep plum throat and the veins really show up. It's an outstanding flower. It attracts butterflies and hummingbirds and makes a beautiful landscaping addition. And when we think about the holidays and decorating, it's easy to imagine how you might use traditional objects such as a Christmas tree, a wreath, or poinsettias. But I love orchids. Orchids during the holidays, well, they just make a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. You see, these Phalaenopsis, which is the butterfly orchid, will last up to 3 to 4 months. That is, if you don't put them in direct light, you give them a temperature that is similar to what you're comfortable at, and if you water them, and you can water them just by adding a bit of ice. A few cubes of ice around the base once a week is all they require. You can take a simple clay pot like this and spray paint it gold or silver or whatever your holiday decorating might require. Or you can take a larger festive container and combine many of them together for a real wow sensation in your entry hall or your dining table. So think about orchids for the holidays, and think about this, the perfect gift to take someone during the holidays. It helps them with their decorating, and well, these will last you well into the new year. Okay, now it's time for viewer mail. Now, this letter comes from Sharon in Cleveland, and she says that I love to entertain, but I'm trying to get away from the traditional things that I've done in the past. I have guests coming from out of town, and I would like to do something a bit more formal. Well, Sharon, one of the things to do is to look and see what you have in the way of silver. I love to decorate my dining room with lots of silver, particularly for more formal events. So I tend to stay away from the traditional green and red. So by using silver and adding some fruit, I think you can get there. Throughout the year, I enjoy using an old silver epergne in my dining room. It holds things gathered from my garden. What I love about this is the bowl lifts everything up, so guests seated at the table can look across and see one another. You can fill it with all sorts of things. Here I filled it with both wild and domestic pears. And on other occasions, it's held nandina berries and apples, an assortment of gourds, and even a collection of orchids. The small votives encircling the base create a warm glow that dances off the silver, so you might give that a try. And you might bring a touch of the garden in by surrounding the centerpiece with some little clipped boxwoods. These are tiny little boxwoods that I found at a garden center, and I planted them in silver mint julep cups, which creates the feel of a French parterre garden. So Sharon, just a couple of things to keep in mind. If you want it a little more formal, of course use candlelight, that's a great help. Stick with one color theme, stay within that color family, and don't get too carried away with too many things going on. Simpler is always better. Now after this short break, we'll get all the details on making this scrumptious recipe. A great gift idea or appetizer for your holiday event would be this delicious garden pepper marmalade. Chef Cassidy Danby with Ashley's at the Capitol Hotel shows me how easy it is to prepare this wonderful marmalade made from fresh garden peppers. Oh my word, that is so good.
I know, and it is so easy to make. I know when I was a kid, peppers growing in the garden always had too many. Great way to utilize them.
You know, we produced so many peppers this year in the farm. Toward the end of the season, there's so many of them. We're having a great time here with Cassidy, who is so good with so many things. But I have to tell you, this pepper jelly is fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, let's talk about how you're doing this. Let's start with the pepper, what variety, and I'm gonna keep eating.
Okay, these are Carmine peppers. They're sweet and they have a very strong pepper flavor, which I like in the marmalade because it comes through so nicely. They have a beautiful color. a bit thin-skinned. And
So you call this a marmalade and not a jelly?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like an orange marmalade or a lemon marmalade, I just cook it down with sugar.
Right.
But since I'm making a savory marmalade, I'll use vinegar.
Now, often the seed of pepper are really hot,
Yes.
and you're not worried about that. I can
Not
see.
even a little bit concerned. It's such a sweet pepper, and any bit of spice that I can get, I
Right.
welcome. And this is so easy. You just put your peppers in a pan.
And roughly, Cassidy, how many are you using here for this quantity? I know you can multiply this out.
Absolutely. This is about 2 peppers, and you'll probably need a half a cup of vinegar. I use a white wine vinegar,
Yep.
fairly neutral in flavor. About a half a cup or a quarter cup of sugar, and then just a tiny little pinch of salt. You just stir this around and cook it slow and low until the sugar starts to caramelize. And once it starts turning slightly brown, pull it off. It's ready to go.
Okay, so roughly how long is that?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah, and you want to go very slow, otherwise your sugars will get too sticky.
Yeah, and so the consistency, help me with that. What should it be? I mean, I'm seeing it here.
It will seem watery, a little bit looser than that, and it'll thicken as it cools.
I see. It's so beautiful. I mean, what a great gift for the holidays.
And so easy to make.
Yeah, terrific. Well, now how much will this yield? With regard to, I mean, this is such a handsome presentation, so how?
That's about 4 peppers worth.
4 peppers worth. Okay, well that gives me an idea. Well, this is lovely, and with the butter on the baguette,
So good with fish.
it's a meal itself. Thank you for sharing this
Thank
recipe.
you.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you've been inspired by some of the ideas. And remember, any of the information in today's show can be found on my website. That's pallensmith.com. Well, I hope you have a great time decorating for the holidays. Until next time, from the garden, I'm Alan Smith.
In this garden I dream of a bed of flowers. Bluebirds sing of the beauty all around us. And every time the sun comes out, I can't help but smile. Oh, no, I can't help but smile.